Hello, Howard community. January's book talk is The Remarkable Journey of Coyote Sunrise by Dan Gemeinhart. It's perfect, I think, for fourth, fifth, and sixth grade. It is the story of a young girl. She is 12 in the book. She lives on a converted school bus with her father. They don't call each other by their names. She goes by Coyote and he goes by Rodeo, and he's described as like a crazy hippie dude. And they travel around the country. She's homeschooled, and they generally go on fabulous adventures and live in the present. Um, and that is because Coyote lost her mother and two sisters in a car accident 5 years previously, and her father has decided they're not going to live in the past, and so this is the life that they're leading. And Coyote enjoys it, but she is lonely. So at the very beginning of the book, she gets a kitten against Rodeo's wishes and without his knowledge, and she's trying to keep the kitten hidden on a school bus, which, as a 12-year-old thinks, oh, sure, I can do that, and the adults and our adult minds are going, oh, this is going to be a disaster. And chapter 3 begins with Coyote saying, I managed to keep the kitten hidden for one day. The kitten she names Ivan, after her favorite book, The One and Only Ivan. And she wakes up to find that Ivan has curled up in Rodeo's neck. Rodeo is asleep and Ivan is curled up in his neck, and she's trying to get Ivan back. So that's where I'm going to pick up for our reading. I leaned awkwardly over Rodeo, pinwheeling my arms for a second to keep from toppling right onto him, which would not have been ideal. I set my jaw, concentrated on my balance, and reached out with both hands for the kitten curled up in my dad's neck. But then, well, shoot, then it all went to heck. Something must have made a sound. Maybe it was my heart hammering. Maybe I was breathing too loud through my nose. Maybe Jaeger cracked under my feet. Jaeger's the name of their bus. I forgot to mention that. Maybe Jaeger creaked under my feet. I don't know. But whatever it was, Rodeo's eyes fluttered open. I stood still as a statue, hoping they'd settle right back closed. Instead, they slowly widened and focused on me, his eyebrows furrowed. Coyote, he said, his voice hoarse with sleep. What are you doing? I was standing over him, my hands reached out toward his neck. Nothing, I answered. He blinked a few times and looked me up and down, still looming like a strangler over him. Coyote, he said, what are you doing? Nothing, I repeated, although to tell the truth it sounded even stupider the second time. Rodeo cleared his throat. At that moment, Ivan opened his eyes. He blinked at me just like Rodeo had. My heart stopped. He yawned, one of his molar-showing monster yawns. His yawn was soundless, but when he yawned, his whiskers brushed up against Rodeo's neck. Rodeo twitched and raised his hand to scratch at his neck. No! I shouted, leaping toward them both. I'm willing to admit it was not the smartest thing to do. Rodeo, understandably startled to wake up and find himself being attacked by his deranged daughter, jumped up and screamed and tried to scramble away from me. Ivan, understandably startled to wake up and find his bed suddenly screaming and kicking, did what any cat would do in that situation. He dug all 10 of his razor kitten claws into the nearest object, which, of course, happened to be Rodeo's neck. The results were both instantaneous and dramatic. There was a high-pitched screaming sound that at first I thought was coming from Ivan, but then realized was actually coming out of Rodeo's mouth. He leapt to his feet with the most speed and athleticism I'd seen him muster since the time he surprised a raccoon in the campground outhouse. Ivan, superstar kitten that he was, managed to keep his grip on Rodeo's neck through all the screeching and leaping. Once Rodeo had shot to an upright position, Ivan decided he'd rather not be attached to a screaming vertical hippie. He disengaged and leaped down onto the nearby horizontal silent couch. There was a moment of breathless quiet. Ivan stood with his back arched and his fur puffed up, looking about as fierce as a 2-pound cotton ball could look. Rodeo, with wide eyes and bleeding neck, panting and leaning away from Ivan like he was a king cobra about to strike. He was wearing nothing but a ratty pair of tidy whities and a look of utter shock. I saw my chance to take control of the situation. Oh, I said to Rodeo with a casual smile. You're up. So the whole book has that kind of whimsical, precocious voice of the narrator Coyote and funny situations. And it is absolutely touching. I cried more times than I could count. It is so good. I think this is one that adults in particular will enjoy reading with their children. I highly encourage you to check out The Remarkable Journey of Coyote Sunrise. I got it through the Libby app, through my public library, and I listened to the audio, and the audio narration is phenomenal. So enjoy and let me know if you read it. Have a great month. See you in February. Bye.